There we go. Okay. Number 2. All right, so I'll make sure that gets sent to you guys. So anything interesting, anything that you've realized or learned or questions about what you are going through? Any observations, Claudia?
Well, I did extensive clearing on my hormones from our last one, and my hot flashes have stopped.
Yay!
It's been today's day 5, so it took like a while for it to take effect, and I think I did also some brain shifts around being okay when I'm annoyed, or when people are annoying, or when I annoy people. But I think a lot of it has to do with the all the clearing that I did on every single hormone. So thank you.
Okay, so you don't attribute it to anything in particular? You think it's the whole group of hormones, or did you narrow it down to a few?
I just did like every single hormone. I did every single energy entity program, and then also used SRT charts to make sure there was nothing else. Like I just hit it every possible way.
Okay.
And it took, I think it took like maybe 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks for it to like sort out. They like started getting better, like less intense.
Yeah.
And then these past 5 days, I've been able to sleep without hot flashing. It's been wonderful.
Bravo. Yeah. All right. Any other improvements other than hot flashes
I don't know.
you're aware of?
Like what else would
sleep, or
I am sleeping better. And I do feel like my body's like made a shift in terms of like starting to release some weight. Like, not eating better, more naturally. Just overall feeling better. So I'm so grateful.
Nice. Yeah. So this is the huge benefit from the balancing of their hormones, because well, especially whatever ages we're going into, menopause or something like that, perimenopause maybe. It doesn't get better on its own, right? I mean, it just kind of goes downhill. You just can't ignore it. So this is going to be something. And did you ask your body then, Claudia, how often you need to come back and check, or
So I did. Every time it would say less than 7 or 8 months, I would ask what else needed to be cleared, so that everything got to about 7 to 10 months before it would need checking again. So if it didn't give me like a good number, I would be like, what else? What am I missing?
Oh, okay.
And there would be like a program or an entity or something in SRT charts where it was like some minor thing that was getting overlooked or something. So it was like I just hit it every way unless it gave me like 7, 8 months. So
yeah, very good, yay.
I know that's
for your case studies.
Yeah, I'm going to send that in for my case study so you can take a look at it and see if there's anything I missed too, because it's so miserable.
Yeah, you had a real good motivator to keep you going, right?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Good job, Claudia. Proud of you. Very proud of you. And this is the beauty of this, is that we are able to do these things and being empowered now on our own to affect a change, a desired results, for ourselves and for whoever, right? That's the beauty of this. And, working in this every day, there's a lot of similarities with people. I mean, we seem to all kind of be the same with our problems. I all the ladies that I talked to, I think there was 50 of them, 53 this week. And they're pretty much all the same. they're, we're all having the same issues, really. I mean, yeah, there's some out there, some pretty bad things, but in general, we're all looking for the same type of issues, or same type of clearing, same type of improvements. And so I find that a lot of things go under, and I'll share with you here programs. Let me go to my other, right here, I believe. Programs.
You did 53 sessions this week, Marlene?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're
48
amazing.
next week.
You're amazing. And you're getting such results. Look at my sister. Like, I really accredit, she's had a huge turnaround. I mean, she was really like, we were really worried about her, living.
I know.
And now she is got vitality. She's, doing great. I mean, unbelievable the work that you've done with her. So
and I'll just say, at the one of the worst points where I saw, what she looked like, I still believed that she was gonna live, right? And that wouldn't change, right? So just knowing too, you guys, your intention of this is not, no matter what I see in front of me, it makes no difference. I don't care what I see in front of me. I know that this is going to improve. I know this is going to change. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's really staying centered in your knowing and your ability to dial in with somebody, because you can very easily get into fear, and that doesn't help the person at all. So
Yeah.
But you've done just such amazing work with her, and she's here now actually with me and my mom.
Oh.
And my mom's been having heart issues, I think since the vaccine, though she doesn't accredit it to the vaccine. And they want to start doing electrical therapy on her. And so we're convincing her to work with you first. And maybe I can help you work with her by doing her as one of my case studies for you. So
okay.
maybe we can partner on that, but we're trying to get her to not go the medical route right away.
Yeah, let's check out everything we can first. Yeah, absolutely. And just like one of the clients I had yesterday, and actually he was a male. I get a few, maybe 2 out of the 50 right that would be males, but he said that he won't go to a doctor. But I won't go. He's an older guy. He's so cute, really. Because I won't go. I won't let him touch me.
Good.
He goes, it's been years. I will not go to a doctor. And he's not doing too bad, really. The few things we got to clear up, but yeah. So, and just the things that people do say that, okay, my doctor says this, and sometimes I get some very low vibrational type folks, they like from the shows and so forth, and they buy a package, and a lot of times you get them, they're new, right? They come in, and it's the same things we're looking at for these people, and like a vibration of 150, that's anger, and that's where they're living. So you got to bring them from anger at 150 up to something, more conscious, so that's the jobs of those 53 people, or not all 53, but some of them came in through those shows, and some of them are very low vibe, and they're telling me things that, well, my doctor said this, or my doctor is going to want to do my prolapse bladder, but if my uterus is in the way, I have to sign the waiver saying it's fine for them to remove it if it's in the way. I'm like, what? In the way? Maybe that doctor's in my way. So, it's just amazing the things that I'm hearing. And I'm not attributing any of this to me. I know where it all comes from, right? So I'm the conduit and the middleman, I guess, if you will, but it's more clear to me now than it ever has been, of the differentiation between how and how these two things are separating so drastically now, where it was before everybody was like, well, you just go to your family doctor and he'll make you all well, and everybody bought into that idea. Well, the people now that I'm talking to are like, no, look what they're doing. They want to take out parts because they're in their way. you know and just the breaking, they broke all this woman's ribs to get at something, and now she has all these problems, like 10 years later, with her ribs having been all mushed out and all cracked, um, and pain and so forth. So it just, it's not amazing anymore. It's just real baffling how people may still be in that mode and think that that's okay to be able to do things to humans that they are still doing to people that are barbaric, in my opinion. But we won't go there. So that's their thing. Our thing is that we know we're empowered. We have this power, and Claudia just proved we have the power to affect desired change on our own bodies, on other people's bodies. And I know it for a fact, right? If you don't know it for yourself, I'll know it for you. Okay, because this is real. I do it. I do this. I see it every day. It's real. We have power. We don't have really. We don't even have that much of a handle on exactly how much power we really have, right? So it's huge. It's indescribable, really, of how much power we are capable of right now, especially, right? And our next slide I'm going to go to is going to be on the frequency. So we'll check everybody's frequency again, where we're at. But I wanted to go through, these are programs that, and I'll send you a copy of this too, so you have it. But these are things that we are going to check for on the different clearings, the slides that I have, and to see if any of these are applicable to what needs to be cleared for you. Okay, because these are a lot of things that I see from the day-to-day work that I do with clients, that I hardly ever come across somebody that's not running a self-punishment program, right? And self-destruction seems to be a close second on that for people. So those are biggies, right? So same with fear. I find that in a lot of people, especially with past life traumas and issues from from another time where, especially if we're healers now, we probably have been a healer before in a past life. And if that's the case, nearly everyone that I have worked with that I found was a healer in a past life has fear, right? Because we've been burned, hung, beheaded, you name it, right? If we were doing something that they didn't want us to know about or didn't want us to be, empowered with, then we have been, I'll send a list of those. Then we've been tortured somehow, right? Tortured and burned. Many of us have been burned. And so forth. So those things can still be in our cellular memory. And more than that, excuse me, more than that, there can be a ton of other emotions. There can be things that, we don't like, ourselves, hate, self-hate, or, things where we feel maybe we're guilty, things that we did and that we got hung for or something, and now we're guilty, I mean, that doesn't make sense, but we took that, internalized it somehow, that we were unworthy or something like that, right? So I find that a lot in people. And then I also find vows. So if we have been hung, if we have been burned, generally it was through a religious type institutional thing. That's who was doing a lot of the hanging, right? And those types of things. So there would be vows involved. and we've taken these vows to, oh, we'll suffer, we'll sacrifice, we'll, we don't need money, and all these things. And I believe that a lot of healers are still under these vows, where a vow of poverty, where, oh no, I couldn't possibly take a nickel for this. This is what my gift from God, and so forth. So I'm doing this for free. Really? You can't go to your dentist and get a free, crown. Believe me, I just, it ain't gonna happen, right? I mean, this dentist spent hours going to school, learning the different things. Well, I did too, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And the time, you have no clue how much time I put into what I've been doing. And the sacrifices, yeah, we'll talk about that. But, the different, and the time away from your family too. And, just so, and, what is it to serve people on a weekly basis, and to, to have clients and so forth. Yes, it is, but nobody would do that. Like, nobody would serve 53 clients a week if they weren't going to be paid for it, right? I got other things I have to do then, if that's the case. Yeah, I would probably take emergencies and whatever without getting paid. I probably would. That's who I am. But I am into this for a business, and so is everybody else, right? And we have to be. Everybody has bills. It's the way it is, right? So the
money is just a way of valuing how we exchange energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if that's the system right now, that's the system we're in, which is we do a monetary exchange.
Yes.
I work with a lot of clients on their beliefs around money.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of old embedded beliefs there, isn't there? I got I don't want to say unfairly overlooked, I guess is a good way of looking at it. When I had a husband that died many, many years ago, and his mother, the life insurance was still under her name, because we had just gotten married. So he hadn't even been back to work yet, and hadn't even gotten any paperwork changed, nothing, right? So the life insurance was under his mother's name, and the family looked at me like, oh, well, you wouldn't take blood money, would you? I'm like, what? Like, blood money? I'm not sure what that means. I had just had everything pretty much, besides Mike being dead. I now have no house, no car. Someone took my dog. I just got laid off from work. I mean, like, I was in somebody's backyard on a lawn chair. That's where I was after all this stuff shook out. And she says, oh, you wouldn't take blood money, would you? And so I'm thinking, where do these things come from, right? Where does this stuff come from? Well, obviously, she took the money. That's what it was. And that's what an excuse was to me, why she wasn't going to give it to me, apparently. But there are things around, like on YouTube channels, where people are doing this kind of full time as a job, but they're only getting like maybe $10,000 a year to do a YouTube channel, and they have people send in donations on this Patreon. But there's people in the chat box saying, well, you shouldn't be asking for money. You shouldn't be having sponsors. Why are you, it's like, well, wait a second. These are your faulty beliefs. These are your programs. And these are not these people are working hard to do research behind the scenes before they can even come on and do their show. And that's worth a lot of money right there, because now we're getting this information that we wouldn't have been able to do unless we spent those several hours doing that research ourselves, which I didn't have the time to do. So thank you. Here's a few bucks, or whatever. But to get on these people in the chat box, I thought this is crazy. These are belief systems though. And they're very set in their ways, a lot of people, right? So especially around money, it's just a real taboo thing for people. But don't let that be for you. And we're going to get into that here in just a couple of minutes on the slides too. But some of the things that you may also find, and we're just going to ask if these are in the way, and then we're going to clear them. Okay, so hidden blocks, interferences, and these can be energetic interferences, attachments, that kind of stuff too. Fear, like I said, guilt is a big one. Control energy, because of all the things that I was just saying and how we've been controlled, right? And there can even be such things as, well, there is medical control energy, and that's usually around a physical issue. Just like those who are, well, my doctor says I should do this. Like this one woman yesterday, she's on tamoxifen. And I said, oh, did you have a breast removed or something? She says, no. I just had an atypical reading from, the mammogram. I'm like, and they put you on, for 5 years, but it's a low dose. I'm going, what? That's medical control energy right there, because they brought out paper stats, right? And all of these people, that they had on their past patients that that had problems similar to hers, and they, had these problems, right? So they brought all these stats out and scared her into pretty much and shamed her in a way, if you don't do this, into taking this drug that, by the way, if you research tamoxifen, it increases your risk of cancer. And they're giving it to people so they won't get cancer or who might be at a higher risk of getting, having cancer. So I thought that was really ironic, but that's the basis of it, behind it, and people will be in fear. And she's been on the tamoxifen now for almost a year. And she said, well, my last mammogram 3 months ago, it was normal. I go, oh, it was normal. And I said, well, are you still taking this medication? Oh, yeah. I was like, okay. So this is medical control energy, you guys. Okay. That's what that is. Okay. And desire to reestablish a program. So sometimes people will go back after, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go back to that again. And cellular memory. So those are things that are stuck in our cells that has happened to us before, because that's our body holds all this information, and we come back. Each incarnation, we will come back, and 3 of our bodies, now I can't recall which 3 of them they are, we have the mental body, emotional body, so forth. 3 of them come back each time, each incarnation. And in those bodies, we have memory. And also the spine is a set of discs. And on those discs are information, and that's your actual records. Those are your records. You don't have to go and beg somebody, oh, please open my Akashic record. I want to see something or whatever. You don't have to go anywhere outside of yourself. You are it. We have it all. And this is where you find it, right? So it's really just utilizing spirit to get you the information that we're looking for, or to clear the information that we don't want anymore. Then you've got things in the subconscious mind that we're not quite aware of. Then people who are sensitive to other people's energy, you could call them empaths, or they're just sensitive people. So that's something you can clear as well. So all these programs you can just ask to be cleared, and that's what we're going to do. So soul beliefs, genetic beliefs, karmic beliefs, beliefs in general, because really, where do these beliefs come from? Unless you did a lot of research and looked at all sides and shifted everything out, saying this is what is truth because I researched it, I figured it all out, right? Well, if you didn't do all that, then you're just coming at something with well, this is how it is. Well, how come? Maybe it is, but are you sure? Or is it just something that you heard? You know, where did you hear it? And that's the big thing too, is, and I know I told this before, but where'd you hear that? Where are we getting our information, and who do you believe? Who do you listen to? Right? That's so huge, because that's going to give us these beliefs. So who do you listen to? You know, if it's the news, you're going to get a lot of belief systems that aren't even true. You know, some may be truth that is taken out of context and maybe given an agenda and then, you know, served up to the public that way, right? So just be very, very careful who you are listening to. It's almost number one, you know, to what we take in. Planetary energies, things going on, you know, solstice, we just went through that this week. Summer solstice. Somebody told me I haven't slept since the solstice. That's what she told me. Like, wow. Okay, so she's got sensitivity to others' energy and planetary energies. So then there's energy imprints. This is a belief in your subconscious that is put in there during a time of stress. So any kind of imprint that it can be imprinted on us. And then there's a benefit. What is this benefit or a payoff? You know, to stay in this state of illness, perhaps. Maybe you're getting more attention if you are this way, right? So, oh God, I don't know, I got to keep that. You know, there's a payoff in here. I'm getting my family all caters to me, and you know, whatever, right? So there could be some kind of benefit there. And then identification program. Who do you perceive yourself to be? And that's the key word, perceive, right? And again, that can be on your belief systems. So maybe you perceive yourself to be a nice person. I did for a long time. And I'm still nice, but not to the point where I was before, because somebody pointed out to me, a lot of people take niceness, Marlene, for a weakness. And therefore I was doing a lot of things for people because they knew I would do it for them. And yeah, so it was actually a weakness, right? So I identified myself as a nice girl because that's the belief I had. And I would say that was a genetic belief. Genetic meaning the family, you know, nice girls, right? That's who the girls are. Boys, they don't have to be nice. They can just, that's okay if they're not nice. As a matter of fact, I learned that as a child. A male cousin threw water on me, and I went to his mom, my aunt, and she says, "Oh, that's how boys are." I'm going, well, I grew up with a sister. I had no idea that's how boys are. I thought you're supposed to be nice. You don't throw water on each other. But that's how boys are, so it was okay. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he don't have to be nice, but I do, right? So that was, yeah, the nice girl thing. It didn't work for me anymore. And inherited beliefs from another lifetime. So you could be bringing stuff with you that you didn't even remember, you know, but that's what's called inherited. And then there can be conflicts. So with you know, you may be in conflict with another person. You think, well, they're getting on my nerves. They're always doing this or that. But in reality, it's a conflict usually with yourself. If something really bugs you about somebody, you got to look at yourself and see what it is about myself, right? So there could be conflict programs there. Past lives, things coming up from past lives, things coming out from future lives, and parallel lives where we're living at the same time on another, could be another planet, doing something else, and who knows what that you know, energy is about, right? So it can bleed into your current life, right? And same with the future, because we're living in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time, right? So this is all happening, and you just got to kind of know that that's what it is, right? And so if you get that that's what a block is for you, hey, it is a future life. I'm getting yes to that, right? So if that's the case, then you want to clear that. So these are a list of programs. So besides your regular clearing stuff like the bloodline, checking to see if there's soul contracts, if there's curses, what we're going through here, the group mind, other things in our perception, and yeah, contracts, agreements, those kind of things. So other than those, what you've been working with and clearing, these are a list of programs too. So energies, if you will, but yeah, program type energy, non-beneficial type energy, right? So yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, Marlene. I want to know about what you call planetary energies. Do you mean like if we're like people who believe in astrology, who have programs that, can you detail what you mean? Because it's not bad to be with the cosmic planetary energy, you know? What?
No, not necessarily, but like there could be what do they call them, sun flares or sun when the sun gives off a big flare.
Solar flare?
Yeah, solar flare. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And things can shift. Harmonic, the harmonic earth energy shifts there. Then you've got the astrological type of stuff. Well, this planet is like Mercury's in retrograde, or like we were just saying, the summer solstice or eclipses, things can affect some people more than others, right? So some people really are affected by those.
Yeah.
But that's what they would be. And we should probably put things on here too of like underground. There could be water or some type of portal or whatever,
Like toxic stream.
It's
Toxic,
more like
yeah.
it's more like influences and program.
Yes, influences, planetary energies.
It's the way it impacts us more than something that change it. It's more the way it impacts us more than the way we believe.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I did a lot. There's been a lot of if you look at the Schumann resonance, all the energy coming into the planet.
Yeah.
I did a lot of clearing around that because I was noticing my body felt run over by a truck every time this energy came into the planet. And so I did a lot of energy clearing on allowing the divine feminine energy into my body. And now I don't feel run over, but I used to know when there was a spike because I would wake up feeling like I had been run over. I don't know how else to put it.
Oh, okay.
But it was like I was like blocking, like a healer of mine would text me and say, oh, are you loving this divine energy coming into the planet? I'm like, I feel wrecked. So I did all this clearing around that. And now I don't feel wrecked.
So what did you say you brought in, the divine energies?
I cleared blocks to allowing the divine feminine energy into my body. And then Marlene, my other question is, in your list of things to clear, your list of programs, the karma, the curses, the this and the that, there's a line that says other programs. Are these kind of what you mean by other programs?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I'm going to put other on the bottom of this list here too, because there's probably a lot of stuff, right? So, but that's good. So other programs, other things that aren't on here, and then just ask Spirit, is there something else that I'm not identifying? So that's great. Yeah. And yeah, there is. Okay. So what is it? Well, I don't know. Okay. Well, can we clear it? Yes. Right. So just put other, ask for it to be cleared, and then go ahead and clear it. Yeah. Okay, so that's that list of programs. So let's go into the slides and see what we can clear here. Okay, so let's first check our frequency. So this is the around raising our vibration to improve our healing gifts, living a higher vibration life. So that's where health is, right? That's where total optimal, our optimal experience is in that higher frequencies. And I just, before the training today, I just verified that we are all up into the highest level of consciousness so that we can do this work. So let's just check what our frequency is now. So wow, it's pretty good. It's real close to like 2,500. 2,500. Now this is on average for everybody, but let's make sure we got everybody up there. What's the lowest of this? 20. 2,200 is the lowest. So let's just get that person, whoever it is, up, and anybody else who's not up at 25. Let's do that. So this is incredible. 2,500. As a lot of people, especially like the one this week that was 150, the frequency of anger versus 2,500. That's a huge, huge difference there. So you can be way past anger. You can be way past any of these low vibrational emotions and into these higher frequency or higher vibrational life, right? So, so this is our healing gifts, and our healing gifts are very much more powerful when we're at 2,500. You can't do this at 150. You can't. You have to be at least around 700-ish, something like that, to be able to really get any kind of result, right? So, so the maximum amount of power behind your intent now is yours. Absolutely, it is. So just like I said, I know it. For people who don't know it for themselves, I can, and you can do that now too. You can know this for yourself and for others. Just know you've got that power behind you, and it's spirit. That's who it is, right? It's helping you. It's your high self. It's you know, it's your gift, really. It's your gift of the link between you and spirit, between all that is. It's that connection there, right? And we have ability now to tap into that. So whenever you require it, state your desire and simply receive. And of course, you might have to do some research to find out what the problem is to clear, you know, but absolutely, this is your gift. So wealth and abundance clearings. So these are the set points, and I believe we went through these before, but upgrading your set point for a level of success, being free of debt, savings in the bank, wealth coming easy. So you can, with these, you can write down what is your set point right now. So for each item, right? So what is my set point for a level of success? Well, I guess it depends on what you term success, right? But if it's monetary, you can just, you know, then say, well, I guess I can see myself making this much, you know, having come in this much a month or this much a year, or having this much in the bank. That's what I see myself. That's my set point right now, because that's your perception. So then you can clear whatever it is that would be in the way of that set point. Or you can just at a frequency of 2,500, you can just ask spirit right now and just say, spirit, let's increase that set point. Instead of 10,000, I want that to be 50,000, whatever, you know, whatever the number is. And so please clear whatever it is that is blocking me from that. And then just see if you can get total clearing on that without having to do any research, right? You know, clearing vows of poverty, maybe, you know, or whatever. So maybe even just going through this list of programs too, besides your other list of things, and seeing what it is. Maybe there's just a couple things that usually always come up. Well, then you know that those are the things that are the most common to look for you. So then you can look at to create in alignment with your highest purpose. So where is my set point to be able to create in alignment with my highest purpose? If you want to give these things like a 1 through 10, just say, okay, with 10 being optimal, where is my set point to be able to create in alignment with my highest purpose? Is it a 10? Oh, it's a 4. Okay, so do I need to research and find out things to get this to a 10? Yes, you do. Okay, so then you got to go to your charts. Or no, I don't have to research it. Just clear it. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Clear it. And then just say, okay, so what is my set point now? And to create an alignment with my highest purpose. Is it, oh, it's a 10. Okay, great. So you can go through the rest of these things, anything, right, that you want to put down, to live in a state of grace or ease and have things come to you, you know, easily instead of the struggle and working really hard, right? Releasing struggle, right? So where's my set point with struggle? You know, that's a good one, really. And I think, did we not do those clearings for suppression, domination, control? So once we clear that stuff, maybe releasing struggle is not as much of a thing for us. But the ability to sustain what you're creating. So if you create, let's just say you've got $10,000 coming in, well, how much of that is going out versus being able to sustain it? Yeah, I know. I want this, I want that.
My husband said, I said, well, I have more money coming in. He goes, you don't have to spend all the money coming in. I'm like, I'm abundant.
I want it, I should be able to have it. I'm an adult now. Yep, I know. Yep. So sustain what you're creating. And maybe there is things that are blocking us from that, right? There's got to be I would say in perception, it's got to be in our beliefs somewhere. Yeah. And that thing about giving, right? To be in that equilibrium so that if we receive, that we feel that we have to give. So maybe that's part of that, where we've got this money coming in now. It's like, oh, geez, I feel guilty just sitting on it. I got to give it away, right? Right. So maybe there's guilt. Maybe we got to look at guilt for sustaining what we create. I'm getting, yeah, that. So that's a good one to add in there. Okay, so then we've got clearing and increasing. So the ability to speak into the universe as a powerful creator. So these are to have these abilities, right? So and you can make up your own list however you would like, but you can see, would there be anything in the way? What could possibly be blocking me for being a powerful creator, right? So the creating is creating whatever you want, however you want to live, you know, your ideal lifestyle, your, you know, yes, it can be income, but it can also be, I want to create a new car in my driveway by next month or something like that, right? How am I going to get that, right? So what do I need to clear? What's standing between me and that? Is there things that, do I have beliefs that I shouldn't be spending money on myself, you know, right now, or, you know, what's going on there, right? And so the ability to be confident and certain, could possibly be blocking that. So a lot of people do have blocks to being confident, and big ones, you know. Business people would all love to have that, being confident at all times, in business and in sales for certain. That's a big thing if you're in sales, as most all business people are. So being confident is and that comes with experience too, really, is what I found. I didn't clear confidence for myself. I just do it every day. So I just am. That's how it works for me. But intentions to remain in a higher frequency. So so while we're at 2,500, if we choose to, just to be an angry person, I guess that our frequency could go down, right? So so what could be blocking you to remain in a higher frequency? Maybe there's doubt, a lot of doubt, or mistrust, things like that, right? So you could find out. And fear. Maybe it's like, oh geez, I was told don't be messing with these things, just sit back and do what everybody else does in this family. You don't want to shake rock the boat or whatever, right? So so people may be under blocked with those assumptions. And then also the ability to not match low vibe friends and family. So do you have to clear something around that? Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that would be in perception as well. That's what I'm thinking is a block there, because that could be that clan energy, because this is how it's done in this family. And if you're going to remain a part of this family, this is how it is. And so maybe nobody's really actually had to tell you that, but you knew that, hey, if you're not married by, age 20, something's wrong with you, or something like that. And you don't have to be told that. You just see everybody got married off before they were 20, and that's how it's done, right? So, but those could be low vibrational type people. And I have relatives that I know they're low vibe, right? I mean, they mean well, they're kind, they're nice. Minnesota nice. I don't know if anyone had ever heard of that term. That's where I'm from originally. And it's a thing, it's real. Minnesota is filled with nice people. And we were taken advantage of because of our niceness. I think they, as a state, actually are being taken advantage of right now because of that. But thinking on a different level now, I can see where that was a choice too, and it was a subconscious choice, but at the same time, it's still a choice. So being ignorant is not bliss. Believe me, it's not. I had to find out myself that I was low vibing with people because they, were my family. And I had to unhook from that. And I haven't lived in Minnesota for, I don't know, going on 30 years now, but whenever you go back there, it's very obvious that certain people in that family is kind as all get out, whatever, but very low vibration. Yeah. So anyway, check your set points around those things. It can be very important to your future and your development. So ability now to step into your full purpose, own it, to support and help others powerfully, to support yourself and to help others as well. And support, well, I don't support others. You can be responsive to them, but you're not responsible for them. So to support them, there's a very fine line there. Okay. Yes, I'm responsive to my clients, but I'm not responsible for them. And that's, I think that, is how I read that. And to help them, yeah, powerfully. And we do. And the ability to complete projects, fulfill promises, fill in what you want here. So at the same time, so what could possibly be blocking that, right? To complete projects, maybe some control energy, that self-punishment program. I think that's a big one. Everybody, we all need to clear self-punishment. As a matter of fact, I'm clearing it for everybody right now. And I want to clear this list. You know, if there's self-punishment, self-destructive programs, I'm clearing vows, clearing fear, guilt, whatever, for the most part here. Yeah. So some of this you might not have to do yourself, but just know that you can clear for completing projects, fulfilling promises, but also for be sure though that, and I guess that's what I'm trying to find the words for, fulfilling promises. If you've made a commitment to do something, then yes, you should, you know, fulfill it, unless there's something that comes up saying, you know what, I just can't. This is not me anymore. And that's the part here, is this is the differentiation between you and, I'm going to just say, the general public from now on, because if the general public is at a frequency of 300 on average, which they are, that's what I find, 300-ish is average. Yes, I find the 150s and so forth too, but around 300 is about where most people are. So if we've made, or if somebody's asked you to do something, we really need to be in this neutrality, right? This neutral state where we've got to step back and look at it from our perspective. Yes, looking at it though from why are they asking me this, and what's in it for them, what's in it for me, or what's in it for this whole situation? Why am I being asked to do certain things? And at one time I would just say yes to almost everything that almost everybody wanted from me, because to be nice or whatever. But then at a certain point, it's like, wait a second, this doesn't fit. This is not me. I wasted all this time doing all these things, and they weren't correct for me. I got nothing out of it, you know. And so I had to step back and go, why was I doing these things? You know, clan energy and all these other beliefs, right? So there's got to come a point where it's like, stop. I am not promising anybody anything anymore. As a matter of fact, I took off all kinds of things off my calendar. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. It's all out the window. I'm starting fresh. I'm going to start over, and I'm going to do it exactly the way that is correct for me, right? Now, I added some things back on because they were correct. And I really wanted to do those things, right? But then other things I'm going, why am I doing that? What is it, you know, how is this in line with my purpose, or in, you know, where I want to go, where I want to be, or for my family, or whatever. And if it wasn't in line with that, then it has to go. You know, maybe you could put it at the bottom of the list. You don't have to toss it out completely. You could revisit it later. But looking at what it is that you promised other people to do, and why did you promise? You know, do you want them to like you? Maybe that was it for me at, you know, a certain point, right? Where I had to be nice or whatever, you know, for people to like you, or, you know, maybe to, you know, as you're younger, maybe it was to attract a man or something, right? Whatever it happens to be, but looking at what's behind these things. And now I'm only going to put on there what it truly is, you know, because, well, how do you want to spend your days? And when you look at it from another perspective, you know, let's just say you're 80, 90 years old and you're looking backwards going, geez, I wish I wouldn't have wasted all my time doing all that stuff. That wasn't right for me. You know, so this is the time to be very clear with yourself. And if you're not getting what you want, well, then clear the stuff that's standing in your way and put it down. Be very clear. Speak out what it is that you want. Now, restoring and renewing your inner vision for divine connection. I think that's what we pretty much did here. We've done that already with the with getting ourselves in line with the highest spiritual consciousness. So I think we're good with that. But spirit to body connection. So we've talked about this before, and we did this, but look at it again from a different perspective now. And you can check yourself, just say, hey, am I in my body right now? You know, a lot of times we're in the head. It says here, many people are 60% embodied at best. But what stands between you being in your body 100% at all times, right? So if there's things that are in the way, like these programs or things on your chart, go through and find out what they are, right? And then clear them. To restore embodiment by clearing the right to be 100% embodied. So these are the things you're going to look for to clearing the ability to live 100% spirit in body, clearing pre-birth settings for less than 100%, and DNA clearing to fully restore spirit to body, which we haven't gone through. That's a level 2 thing, DNA, but you can ask spirit to help you with that. And then timeline issues regarding staying fully in your body. So if there's something on your timeline, and remember we had on their timeline, energetic timeline, emotional timeline, family, mental, and physical, are there blocks there to staying in your body? So these are, we are humans in a body, and this is where we are most empowered, when we stay in the body. So we can create from here. And like I was saying, if your discs, you know, are stored, you know, all your information is stored in your discs, well, you need to be in the body to have, you know, access to that information, right? And to feel, to be able to get those intuitive hits. You'll know this is not right for me. Just boom, I just feel it. This is not right. I will not commit to that. No, I won't put that on my calendar. Whereas before, I'm not in my body, I'm in my head, right? I'm in my beliefs, I'm in my perceptions here. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. You know, I didn't feel a thing, right? I didn't feel that that's not correct for me. I didn't feel it because I wasn't there. I was up here, right? So wasting time doing things that weren't correct for me when I could be doing what I really want to do and what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's how you feel it, is by staying in your body. So that's why that's very important. Clearing, okay, we did suppression of oppress, domination, and control. So here's the intention statement for that: to be free of suppression, domination, control. In verbal expression, to speak your truth in all situations is very beneficial to do that clearing. And then here's one: to have wealth, the ability to bring in, sustain, and to grow wealth, to have, you know, put in whatever dollar amount you want, to have $1 million or more in the bank, whatever it is, to bring in how much ever a month in a career you love, letting go of suppression, domination, and control, right? So you can fill in however you want it to read, and then just say, well, what could be blocking that, going through and doing your intention statement. Well, that's your intention statement, but clearing to match what you intend. And so maybe like going through the programs that I just showed you the list of, the self-punishment. If you've got self-punishment there, you're going to, yes, you could be making the money, but then you're going to be, like I said, spending it too, right? So that equilibrium, you know, like, oh gosh, I got all this money. Oh, I got to give it away. You know? So let's get rid of that, those programs too, right? So that's one you can do. Actions, here are some things then to do yourself. So you can meditate, you know, just getting in touch with your with yourself, your own mind. Getting answers, really, it's more of getting answers and talking with high self. That's really what it is. You want to talk with your high self. And some people can just do that and get answers. Some people do automatic writing and they just start typing out things. Some people, well, for myself, I will just kind of channel information from my high self. I can speak it out loud. I can maybe record it if I want to. Or just write it down as I'm getting it, you know, just kind of write it out. That's usually kind of what works for me. but that is a way of maintaining that inner dialogue, you know, with keeping you on track and where you want to be and what your, you know, intentions are. What's, you know, what am I here for? Right. So, you know, who am I? You know, and what's my purpose here, right? So you could take that, all that information, you know, those questions to high self and get that information as a form of answers by doing this meditation. I would call it what you will. I mean, meditate. Some people think you got to sit there like that gal and you know, it's okay. You can do that or not. Doesn't matter. You do it. You know, I go outside and we've got feral cats, 4, and hey, just going out there and seeing the cat run up to me just like I'm the best thing in its world, you're like, look at, she's come out again. Oh my God. And then just petting a cat, right? That's all it takes for me. I'm grounded, I'm good, you know. Reading your gratitude list. So this would be on making up a gratitude list, first of all, before you read it. And what are you grateful for? So if you do a list of like 10 things that you're grateful for, and you can change the list as, you know, every so often, but this will give you more opportunity to have those things that you're grateful for. The more that you are grateful for them, the more you will have to be grateful for. It's just that loop that you can just continuously be plenished from. So it's there, and there's always something to be grateful for. Just the fact that you opened your eyes this morning, right? So set specific intentions, see it in a balloon, for example, and then you can let it go. So if you want to set a very specific intention, okay, so you're going to, like on the last slide where it said to have a $10,000 a month income, doing not a job I love, you're going to be more specific with that and just saying that these are the things that I desire now because I spoke to my high self and now I got some answers. This feels correct for me. These are the things I want. These are things that I desire to have manifest from that, and being very specific. You can speak this, you can write it out too, but you can speak it and set it up into a balloon, like you're just going to put it all into a balloon and then let the balloon go. And knowing that that is going to now come to you, right? So you've set it off to spirit, do whatever has to be done and just know that it's being done for you, right? And then exercise daily, that's a good one. Let's see, take daily action in your work. Identify areas where money, love, health can come in and focus on those. Or whatever it is that's important to you, right? So, well, money, love, health, I guess that's the major ones, I guess, but whatever that is, take some daily action. Claudia.
Marlene, do some of these, like before you get to the actions that you need to take, when we're identifying like the blocks to being in your body, are you saying that sometimes we're going to need to do research on what are the programs, what are the entities, just like everything else, right? Like, you know, we identify, okay, you're not 100% in your body. And now let's check what programs are keeping you from being 100% in your body. And it might be the list that you just gave us today. It might be the other list of, you know, karmic or control energy or all of that stuff. So for everything, we're checking against those lists and those entity energies.
Yes, unless you can clear it without research.
Okay, so check if you can clear without research, and then if you need research, then you go to that.
Exactly. And two, sometimes I don't even ask, can I clear this without research? Because I want to know, well, what is it that's blocking me? I want to know what that, oh, they're curses. Oh, for Pete's sakes, you know. So now on my daily list, and I should probably put this on here. I don't know if you guys want it on here or not, but check for curses. it just depends, I suppose, how many people you interact with on a daily basis. But I had 53 people that were my clients this week. So is there a possibility that one of them could say, gee, I wish I could do that. Oh man, well, that darn, who does she think she is? You know what I mean? That there could be one person who thinks that way and put a curse, evil spirit curse, right? So I got to check for curses on a daily basis. It just is, right? I mean, most and not anybody that I speak to would I think would do that, right? I mean, most everybody is gracious and kind and nice and whatever, when they get on the call. But there's some that are jealous, out there, right? Especially if they're in the 150 frequency range. And as you go through life, just, people at the grocery store who maybe you took the cart and you turn around, oh, they were there, I didn't know they were there, right? And so maybe they're cursing you like, well, cut in front of me or something, like I didn't have a clue you were even there, right? Or you cut in front of somebody in traffic or whatever it happens to be. Somebody can be cursing you and you have no idea that they are. So this is something I do every day. I'm going to put that on there, but clear yourself. And I would check for clearing, check the entity interference list as well. Especially if something is off, something doesn't feel right, something's off. Why isn't this working right? Why does it feel like such a struggle to, get this right? Or why did someone snap at me? Or, or why am I feeling funky? Whatever it happens to be, check yourself, right? If something just doesn't feel all.
When your thoughts don't feel like your own, when you're like, why would I think something like that? That's always like a big aha to me. Like, I remember when I would travel to New York, I'd be like, Marlene, did I pick something up? When I'd be like on the plane and then I'd be in New York City and I'd be like, why am I thinking something like that? Like, it just was like, that's not me. So that's a big aha.
Just think of who was in your hotel room before you. They may have vacuumed the carpeting and sprayed the glass cleaner, but they did not clear your room. Believe me, they did not clear your room. They might have cleaned it, but they didn't clear it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. I was in a hotel in Chicago. What the heck was the name of it? I can't remember it now. But it's even after I got back from the hotel, I looked it up online, and sure enough, there were all kinds of ghost stories about this place. I'm like, what? I would never have chosen to stay there if I heard all that stuff. But there was this story. Well, actually what happened though is I had a robe and I had laid it across the foot of my bed, just in case I had to get up at night and go to the bed, whatever, I throw on a robe. And I woke up and the robe wasn't there. Forget where it was, but it wasn't there anymore. I'm like looking around for it, and I found it, and it smelled like perfume. I'm like, a really heavy perfume. Like, I had a roommate. I'm going, you wouldn't have by chance wore my robe, did you? She's like, no. And you don't have this heavy perfume smell, do you? It's like, no. Like, what the heck happened to my robe? Yeah, I don't want to say 100%, but back, I guess I didn't check, but that there was a story where there was a upstairs ballroom in the top, roof, whatever, ballroom where they would have weddings and so forth. And back in the, 100 years ago when this place was built, some woman was going to get married there, and her husband to be never showed up. So she was stood up, and she wound up hanging herself in the ballroom. And then the story goes that she's still, in the hotel wearing people's robes. I had to throw it away because it just, it wasn't good. But yeah, so checking for stuff like that, they should have cleared the whole hotel, really. That was what they should have done. And then too, my roommate had an issue with something herself. And it was like, this place, I don't like it. I don't want to be here. And then another gal yesterday I talked to, she said that she was on vacation and they went through, it was like old 1700s cemetery, and they were just looking at the names of people, and it was just kind of like on a tourist kind of thing. But she said, why were we snipping at each other later in the car on the way back to wherever, the restaurant or something? Why were we all snapping at each other? And that was why, because they had picked up these spirits from this, graveyard they were in touring, right? So checking yourself for extra, spirits or souls, and that could be something that you want to do. Check for curses and just spirits, right? So did you pick up spirits anywhere today, or and you don't really want to go to bed if you have, just check yourself, especially before you go to bed. You don't want that. You want everything to be kind of nice and in your bedroom and peaceful. That's another thing too, is you can check your mattress for stuff. Yeah, the mattress. So, I mean, if you clear your room, let's just say you clear the room of energies and so forth, well, check the mattress, because that's where a lot of stuff can hang out, and clear that mattress totally. Because I did that before, and it's like, why can't I get this cleared? And it's like, it's in the mattress, right? So so that's a thing too, is if you're divorcing, get rid of that mattress, just throw it away, get rid of it totally, because there could be whatever, you don't want it anymore, right? So clear it, ask if there's evil spirits, go down the whole list, whatever it is, and just ask. I mean, it might be a good thing to do just right now, right? Today maybe, or this weekend or something, is just going through your whole list and just say, in my mattress, is there any of this stuff here? Because that's, you think of bed bugs, right? So similar thing, you've got the energetic parasites as well, right? So you got on a whole different level. Yeah. And same with the hotel then too, is like, that's like gotta be double gross, because you don't know who's been sleeping in there and what kind of spirits and stuff that they have too, right? So what I do is, if I'm going to be going out of town, or going on a plane, I get the flight number of the plane and I clear that whole plane before I even leave, right? I mean, spirit knows that's the plane. Clear it, and clear for turbulence, clear for air pressure, whatever, and then even when you're in the plane, whatever, however you want to do it, make sure that you're clearing that hotel room. And spirit knows what hotel room you're getting. You might not know it's room 425. You don't know that, maybe consciously, but spirit will know what room you're going to be in, because the future's already happened, right? If you're living in the past, present, and future, it's already happened. So spirit knows you're in 425, right? And you will too in another hour from now, consciously. So have that room cleared before you get there. Check the mattress, check the bathroom, check the corners, in the closet, all that stuff. You're going to check for spirits. I had a woman this week that her husband died a couple months ago, and he has this business, and it's a property, and there's a shop, and then there's a shed in the back, and he has things like beetles, like beetle bugs. I guess he's a scientific kind of guy or whatever, but he's got these beetles in there. And since he's died, I mean, there's another guy that's helped him, and he wants to buy the business, this beetle business or something, skulls and all kinds of weird stuff in there, right? Well, and she told me, she goes, I haven't been feeling right the last few days. I don't know what's the problem. I have no motivation. She said, I know I got to do things. I know I have to get rid of that, sell the business or do something, but I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I have no energy. Like, what? So I checked the place, and sure enough, it's got evil spirits, demons, it's got ghosts, it's got all kinds of stuff. And not just in the building, but on the property, right? So I checked all these things. So I cleared her, then I cleared the buildings, then I cleared her home because she went from there back to her house. So then I had to clear her home. And then she had to go back over there at the end of the day to feed the beetles. Poor woman. Like, oh, geez, glad it's you, not me. But those beetles wouldn't be living. I wouldn't be back over there feeding them. But so then I had to check her again. And then I rechecked the place again. And you might have to check it 3 different times to make sure everything is, where you want it to be, I guess. So that's what I had to do. But just be very careful. So this is a daily action you can do too, is, and especially like if somebody in your house works outside of the home and, so they're gone every day and they come back every day. Well, where have they been? Who'd they go out to lunch with? Where, and it's, all innocent. They don't mean to bring stuff in. They don't really probably know. But what, if they were in some kind of heated discussion with a coworker or some meeting that didn't go well or something like that, maybe there was some bad vibes there that somebody else resonated with some junk, right? And so now you brought that into the house. So it might be good even before they get home. Okay, so they get home at 5. So, 4:30, you're clearing them and you're clearing their car so that by the time they get into your house, everything's fine, or into up your driveway or whatever, right? Same with children. They go to school. Oh, that's a very dirty place for spirits. I was actually pushed down some steps going up the front steps of the school of our son. And there was no children out there at the time because school had already started. He forgot something and I had to bring it to him. So nobody was on the steps, just me coming in. And I fell over, right? And it was like, why would I fall over? I was pushed, right? So there was something that pushed me. Yes, you can, Diane. I'm sorry if I haven't been replying to you in the chat box here, but yes, you can use the pendulum to clear it right now. Absolutely. Do the clearings yourself as we're going to. Yeah. I would say yes. Yeah. So yeah, something pushed me. So on the school grounds, there's mean-spirited, whatever can be. So clearing your kids before they get home would be a good thing too. And maybe you want to clear things for your child so that you can get them in a higher state of frequency themselves, because now you have this ability too. So you can help people to bring up their frequency by doing these clearings for them, right? So just so you know, there's a lot of stuff you could do like as a daily ritual or whatever. It just depends on how thorough you want to be and how willing you are to live with stuff that, I was, I guess, more willing at one point than I am now. Now I'm not willing to do it. I am not willing at all. And drawing that line in the sand, like absolutely not. That made a big difference because now absolutely nothing is going to be in my house that I don't want in my house cleared, whereas before it was almost like an invitation, like, well, she doesn't really care, so we're going to do it, because that, to me, that's a yes, right? Because yes, we have free will and we're sovereign and nothing is supposed to, come in our field or whatever. But if you act like, I don't have time, I'll do it later, I can't be bothered, that to them is an invitation. It's an agreement like, yeah, she says yes, it's okay. Because you're not saying no, right? So you got to be very specific, very clear, and draw that line in the sand where you want that. I found when I did that, it was a clear no. And now everything's a no. I don't find much anymore after I've said that, you know. So just, you know, to check yourself. Okay, so then daily actions, then you can do this exercise where you can write down a list, 100 things where wealth can come into you, for you, or whatever it happens to be. Maybe you want clients, right? So where can these clients come from, or whatever it is, right? So you can do that list, that exercise where if you do 100 things, you might get the first 10 or 20, and then you come up to a block. And then at that block, just start brainstorming and coming up with really goofy things. It could be anything, right? And then after that point, then subconscious kicks in, or you can just ask high self, please, you know, give me this information. I you know, I want to come up with this full list. And then that's when stuff starts to come. You can automatic write, type it out, whatever it is. And then you start coming out with some things you would never have thought of, right? And a lot of those could be like breakthroughs for you. Like, whoa, that is so cool. I would never have thought of that. Or you could combine it with something else that you had, but it wasn't quite complete yet until you got this other information that came through, and now you can connect the dots on something. And that's where it happens. If you just said, oh, make a top 10 list, yeah, I can come up with 10 things, no problem, you know. But it's when you got to come up with the 100, that's where you got to get some extra help. And that high self will be that conduit for you. And then here's that list of the 10 things you're grateful for. I think this must be out of order because we already had that. Well, here, read your gratitude list. So here's where you make your gratitude list every day. 10 things. Well, you don't have to rewrite them every day, but you can read them every day. Okay, and then so moving forward. So what have you come here to do, and who are you to be helping? You know, who are you to you know, because we're here to serve humanity in some way, right? There's individuals who don't serve anybody in any way, and you wonder, well, what are they doing on the face of this planet? They're serving themselves, and though they're not going to probably reach their full level of consciousness doing that, right? And at the same time, like we were saying before, it's not that we have to be here doing things for free for anybody. That's not what we're saying here either. But we are here to do some good. You know, yes, it's to fulfill our own destinies and to have these beautiful experiences and so forth, and to enjoy life. Yes, that's a purpose, to do those things, but at the same time enjoying life while it can't be, you know, being mean to other people or cruel or hurtful or harmful. It you know, it has to be something, you know, that you can serve humanity, right? And in this way, that's where things come to us. That's where we get the resources. That's where we get the tools to do the thing that is, and really it's the thing. It's not like we have to obey and go out there and, you know, toil and do this and that just so you can help other people. It's not that. It's the things that you want to do anyway. It's what you love to do, the things that you feel drawn to do. Those are the things that you are here to do, right? So I was always told, a belief system, oh, go to school, you know, get yourself set up as an accountant or do whatever, right? So you always have something to fall back on. You can always have, you know, and yeah, then go have a hobby, go do things you like to do on the weekend, right? And okay, that's what I did. Was I happy? No, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. Wasn't happy with my job. Wasn't happy with, the choice of, relationship material I was choosing, because none of this was conscious choices for me. These were things that I was led to believe you had to do, right? Like if you weren't married off by a certain age, right? So I'm falling, or just settling for stuff that it wasn't me, right? So really, this is the time to be very clear and specific with yourself. Who are you? What have you come here to do? Who are you here to help? And now you can go through these list of programs. You can go through the clearing charts and just say, okay, great. So what's stopping me from doing that? Right? Okay. Oh, there's curses. Oh, I took a vow of poverty. Oh, self-destruction. Right. So that's powerful, right? So once you come up with those, the plan, if you will, then you got to find out, well, what could be stopping me from having that plan manifest itself? So to live your mission, to be in mastery of that mission. So very, very important to know these things. And so that intention, okay, so that's what I was saying about being very clear, believable, specific, be clear. I'm going to say specific again, and believable in the present moment as if it exists already. So with that specific statement, you're not saying, I will be, I will be making, $10,000, or I want to. So that's not the way you do it. You just say, I have, or I am, the words I am already, right? So I am, so I am blah, 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 blah. I am making $10,000. I am successful with a whatever business, or I am doing these things already. And then that's
In
how
brain shift, we want to do first person present tense.
First person.
We do first person present tense.
Okay.
First person present tense is like a way of remembering, like, that it's not I will, you're not putting it in the future, it's present tense. First person present tense, brief and meaningful. Brief, like brief and meaningful, because the brain is, the subconscious is like a 5-year-old child. It doesn't want really complex, things. It wants things to be simple,
Okay, simple. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Yes. So then once you have the statement, then you can go through the charts, say, well, what could possibly be blocking that for me? Clear all that stuff, then put it into your bubble, and then let the balloon, or whatever you want to call it, and then just set that balloon. I'm going to put the balloon. I already called it the balloon before. Intention balloon. And clearing it here. Okay. Yeah. And then putting it all into that bubble, and then just let it go, and just know that spirit is just going to do whatever it needs to do to make everything work, bring all the resources, tools, people together for your benefit. Okay. That's it. And hydrate, of course. And so, yeah, we do have the physical level 2 coming up on August 14th. This starts the next level of training. And if you're interested in doing that, this is going to be where we do the physical, right? So we're going to do the glands of the body, the endocrine glands, and the hormones. Well, we already did the hormones before, but the actual glands to be able to get the hormones to work better. And I know for Claudia too, we've worked on adrenals, thyroid, and all that before, and had her regenerated on those organs. And a lot of you too have already gone through something where I've done that in a live stream with you. But to learn how to do it for yourself and for other people, Adrenals and thyroid, the number 1 and number 2 glands that, especially for women, adrenals, they can be done very regularly. I would check on regularly, maybe every 6 months would be good or so, just depends, because that's the one where all the stresses, and how can you not have any stresses in, today's world? It just wears on you. Just the fact that if your phone rings, boom, that's a stressor, right? Anything nowadays is a stressor. So to know how to do that for yourself. And then, of course, then the pancreas, thymus, parathyroid, ovaries are also the other glands that we do. But then we're going to learn how to do detox organs. So the liver, colon, kidneys, and bladder. And those are the 4 that are, of my experience with all my clients, those are the 4 that, well, especially women, but mostly everybody is going to need, because they're like filters, filter organs, right? They take all the stuff through, filter the blood, filter the toxins out. But where does it stay? The liver just takes all that stuff in and it just kind of holds it there, right? So the liver's very important to clear up. Colon, a lot of people have issues with the colon because they can't let go of things. A lot of times there'll be like an abandonment program running. And they don't want to be abandoned, so they can't let go. So that's like a constipation kind of thing. So there's issues with digestion. There's a lot of issues, emotional type stuff, right? So just a lot of things that can get trapped in there, right? So emotional energies, all kinds of stuff. Kidneys, same thing. There's love, family of origin problems that go on in there, emotional stuff with the kidneys, or actually, the bladder, who you pissed off at. That's what, people are saying, you're angry. As a matter of fact, the gal with the 150 frequency, the anger, she had bladder problems. So, and none of it was, seemed out of the ordinary. It was all pretty much fit, with all the chips kind of fell in place, with that. So those are the top 4 I find with organs for people. So that's why it's on the list. And then that's where we're going to learn about DNA. So deprogramming your source code, that's like the computer energy, the computer program, where you always revert back to whatever is the settings. So that's what DNA is. And so DNA should really be on this list. Well, I know it's on your other charts and so forth, but as a program, so I'm going to put on this chart of list of programs. I'll send this to you too. I put DNA on there, DNA programs. And although you don't have the training for it yet, you can just intend for it. But we'll show you what you can do to deprogram it and what to look for. And then timelines. So did this happen before? Past life, if you want to call it past life, because you're still living the stuff from the traumas. If you haven't cleared them, which most people haven't, if you haven't gone through and just say, hey, where did this come from? Oh, it's a past life because of this trauma that happened to you. Now you're still holding the fear. You're still holding the betrayal energy. You're still, and if you're still holding betrayal energy from 3-4 lifetimes ago, maybe your relationships now aren't working for you because maybe you're being betrayed, your husband or something, your relationships aren't working. Well, that's why you're still holding the resonance of these emotions, and they all have a resonance. And so if you're holding that resonance of betrayal, you have no choice but to attract that same resonance, right? It's like you're a magnet to it, so people unfortunately don't know this, right? And they're stuck, right? Why does everyone always leave me? Right? And so maybe they got this unworthiness program running too. So I don't know, whatever, right? So these are the things that that happen, that run in they could be in our subconscious, but they're certainly stuck in cellular memory. They're stuck in the memory, they're stuck in the mind somewhere. And there's things.
Marlene, can I ask you about when you're doing research as to like how many past lives ago, like how many past lives ago, with our souls being so infinite, you know, like usually when we look at like how many past lives ago, it's like 5 past lives ago or 7 past lives ago, or, but I don't often see like 1,000 past lives ago, or can you speak into that?
Yeah, it's usually about the last 9 lifetimes that have the impact of that trauma still with us. Although certain things like soul contracts, you can go back maybe 100 different lifetimes ago and they can still be having a impact. But I don't really find things 1,000 lifetimes ago as being coming up. Although a lot of times now I'm not even checking how many lifetimes ago it was, because it's really kind of irrelevant. But sometimes I do if I want to just check to see, hey, is that the same experience? Did that hanging that I'm coming up with?
I know in our work, it helped us say like, oh, this is the same little girl from, you know, it was 5 lifetimes ago. She was 3 and now it's showing up in another organ and it's still 5 lifetimes ago, but now she's 10, you know, so like it helped us identify that it was the same life trauma.
Yeah. So that would be because of my curiosity, or because, you know, it's not like it's totally necessary. I mean, it could have come up saying, you know, here's a 10-year-old, you know, having these experiences. Well, we could clear it. We don't really have to know that there was the same lifetime as that other 3-year-old, but it's fun, I guess. And it's nice to put the pieces together and to have that perspective. But it's not totally necessary to know how many. Yeah. But this is a whole big thing. And I find maybe 80% of all cases, you know, clients that I have, whatever issue that there's talking about, if it's a, you know, big deal for them, it could have more than likely have a timeline attached to it, energy. So that's, yeah, clearing the traumas. And it's the impact of the trauma itself that you're clearing, and then all the energies around it, like the fear, the terror, you know, the mistrust. So now they have a block to trust. They can't trust people, right, because of these things. So
Marlene?
yeah.
I wanted to ask something. You know, they talk about frequency resonance, like if there's a higher frequency, the lower frequency drops away, or it has to come up to meet the higher frequency. Well, if we're at a high frequency, why are not some of these lower things just dropping off on their own and where we don't have to clear them?
It's a good question. Does some things drop off on their own? Yeah, some things do drop off on their own. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And you may find that there's less things to clear for you too. Very good question. And when you're more aware, when your frequency is higher, when you're more aware, then you can look at things from a whole different perspective, and you won't be coming from those same beliefs anymore, right? So you can just take that step back and go, wow, yeah, I can see my family now in the whole big different picture. You know, so I don't feel blocked anymore by that clan energy, or that, you know, it just doesn't resonate with me anymore. So I don't think I have to clear it now, because it's not there for me, you know? So yeah, so it's that total awareness, getting out of and it's kind of like, it's just getting out of 3D duality is what it is, you know? So once we drop out of that existence, now we're over here looking at it like, whoa, I never saw that before. Now that looks really different, and I wouldn't want to experience my life that way anymore. You know, so glad I'm on this side where I can see things more clearly now. So so you can see actually where you were operating in a different mode because of a belief. So you can just give up the beliefs now. It doesn't even have to be a thing, right? So group mind, for example, group mind can just drop off. Like I don't buy into that anymore. So group mind won't even be on my list. Yeah, very good, Gail. That's great.
Thank you.
The more aware you are, the less you're going to have stuff to clear. I like it.
And I noticed, like, it can just be the smallest little thing. Like somebody says something and you're just like kind of slightly annoyed, and then it triggers something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not even aware of like, oh, I'm so annoyed. It's just kind of like something happens. You're like, ugh. And it's like, it's at a subconscious kind of lower level, but it's still running an energy that can attract, those influences or can trigger those programs. So it can be very slight. Like, it's not like you're walking around angry and annoyed, but like something little happens, or.
Mhm. Yeah, but I also find that you're more able to let them go. Like, oh, they said that, oh, look at it, they're coming from that perspective. Oh, that poor person. I'm not going to, respond to that. I'm not going to react, especially I'm not going to react to it. Whereas before you could have reacted, and now you're attracting this stuff now too, because you're all in it, whereas now you can just step back, just say, oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, well, okay, I'm onto this thing, and just not even be affected by it at all.
So neutrality is really key.
Absolutely.
Like really being able to be at your 12 o'clock where you're in this neutral place where you're not like, you're like, oh, interesting, like.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You want to step back, and that is what being in a higher state of consciousness is all about, is being that neutral observer. You can just observe the situation now. You don't have to be part of it anymore. Those dramas, the traumas, the get you caught up into stuff, it doesn't have to be a part of your life anymore. Now you can just be that person on the sidelines going, oh, wow, that's funny. Now I can laugh about that, I didn't used to do that. No, that wasn't never. I never did that. Yeah, like, oh my gosh, how grateful. I want to add that to my gratitude list now that I don't have to do that anymore. So yeah, you can put that on your list. I'm so grateful that I got out of duality. Woo! Yes. And that's the point, really, is to get up out of the sludge, out of the 3D, where we maybe have been trapped and, feel helpless or hopeless, or because I remember a while back that I felt hopeless. All the world's energies, all the things that were happening around me got to me where I felt like, oh, what's the point? It's totally hopeless, and that's where I was when I started all this stuff. I was at a point, well, all the things that happened in my life, it was just stuff upon stuff upon stuff upon stuff. And it was to the point where, totally hopeless. And now I'm at a point where it's not hopeless. Everything is so much different. And I chose that, so I chose it for myself. And some people will just like, oh, there's a benefit into staying in. What's the payoff in staying that way? Well, now I can continue to complain, and I can hang out with my complaining friends and family. But it's a choice where you say, I want something more for myself. I know there's something better. I know there's something different. I want to find that. I want that for myself. And I see that person right there. They've got something. I want whatever they're doing. It's working for them. They're happy. Why can't I be happy? So when you, and not with being the jealous person where you're putting curses on them. No. But looking at them more like a mentor kind of thing. Like, well, I want to do what they're doing. And so if they can be happy, I want to be happy. I want life to work for me, right? And so that was a choice, and it was a line in the sand kind of thing, is I will not accept that anymore. I won't accept it. So what do I have to do? And that's where I started looking into things, and like what you're doing, training and so forth, and getting tools and the knowledge and information, and start applying things in your own life, and eliminating things that aren't working in your life, and not accepting anymore the things that aren't working for you or that are not correct for you. Right. So that's where you need to be this aware, right? And to know what it is. So talking to the high self, getting that, who am I? What am I doing here? What do I really want? What's the plan? You can come down with a nice little plan, get it specific, present tense, like Claudia was saying, and then getting it all into this balloon and just setting it off and letting the resources all fall into place for you, and just keep that knowing. Keep the knowing that it's all going to come, whether you see it in front of your eyes at this moment or not. I remember a long time ago, somebody was telling me, well, but that's not reality, Marlene. And I'm like, well, what's reality for you? And what's, going to be, what is my reality? Because I know that this is happening, and they couldn't know it for themselves. And I was knowing it for myself even before all this started. And they looked at me saying, but that's not real. That's not how life works. I said, really? And now looking back at it, like 20 years ago or whatever, oh, is that not how life works? Their life is miserable because they chose not to believe in themselves, or believe that they had the ability to make their own reality. And that's what this really is. It is, what is it you want? Because you can have that. You can have your reality. You are empowered to do these things, right? This is your choice. We're not here to live somebody else's life, right? Because that would have been living somebody else's reality. They're saying, but that's not reality, Marlene. I'm thinking, okay. Well, I didn't argue, but now looking back at it, their reality is really in a poverty state, on disability, arthritis, you name it. That's their reality because they chose that. That was their conscious decision. And they told me straight out that I didn't have a grip on reality. Well, I decided to choose my reality, and I've been choosing my reality consciously by making those choices that are correct for me. And of course, yeah, there's going to be mistakes and things that you're, fall back and don't do. But as a conscious choice and doing those daily actions that we were saying, you can stay on track, keeping grateful for the things that you do have, and noticing the things that are coming in and adding those to your grateful list, and then continuing to mold that intention statement that you want to put in that balloon, and put that out there, and just know that that is what is, that's your reality. That is the reality it is already your reality, whether you see it or not, right? So the actual manifestations can be coming to you, whether you can see it today or next week, next month, maybe it's coming next year, whatever it is, the pieces have to come together in 3D as well, right? Because, you got people involved and other stuff, right? So it just might have to be not this month, but maybe next month, right? That things can now be more in alignment. Yeah. So
Marlene, Judy has a nice question about what is your recommendation to remain in neutrality and shield ourselves when going to a store, a church, a school, or any place where we can pick up negative energy or entities. Could you speak into that for her?
Okay, yeah, and I see that you replied, I would say intention to be sovereign. That's what I would say too. Yeah, put up your shield. Yep, and that's what I mentioned too. You can see yourself in like a snow globe, a bubble, or whatever you want. And you can put this flame around it, like a real dark blue flame that would burn off all negativity. and then you can see yourself in there. As a matter of fact, if you're going to the store, in like when you're in the car before you even get out, put up your shield, put up your globe. But you can also ask for a light shield to be placed around you, light shield to be placed around you. Pull in your auric field. That's a great one. Yes, absolutely. Because we don't want our aura way out there. We want it to be like in our space, like nobody really comes right in our face this close to us, right? So have it as close to our body as possible, where people are not going to be. Tight into your body. Imagine yourself in a beautiful bubble of protection. Yep. Sprinkling joy, love, and kindness wherever you go. And if something triggers you, go into that neutral place of compassion that knows you are observing something and not having to react to it. You are high vibe. I love that. Very good, Claudia. Yeah. So that's what I would say too. And maybe go through this list of programs. Is there something that is blocking me from being able to stay in neutrality? What is it that triggers me? There's got to be something, right? So is it a belief in something? Is it some kind of imprint? I mean, you can just go through this list of programs and just find if something is applicable to your situation. So maybe there was a conflict or something, energy, or that you have with other people, and maybe that triggers you when you get to the store. Some people are acting that way, right? So if you clear that imprint that happened to you, then maybe you won't be triggered by those other people. So be clear yourself. Be a real clear person yourself. So clear yourself of all these things, and then go out and put your bubble around you and so forth. But be that love and joy, like Claudia was saying. Sprinkle, what did you say? Sprinkling love, joy, and kindness wherever you go. I like that. Yeah, just be like that fairy dust. You're just like when I see people on the side of the street with a sign, I send them the little fairy dust, or I clear them of their entities is what I do. So that they can maybe change their mind or see things from a different perspective, and because that stuff is what's clouding their thoughts, right? So people don't know. They just think that they're unmotivated bums or whatever, right? But really, their minds are being controlled. Is what it is. Yeah, they're just being controlled.
I just have a question about neutrality. Like whenever I've gone to manifest, I've gone into like what I consider a state of neutrality, but in that state, I have always thought and described it to myself as I don't really feel in that state. It's just I'm more like I don't feel negative, but I don't feel positive. So how does that neutrality state then come about with like feelings of joy, or what was in my mind, like a positive, like joyous feeling or happiness or something?
Okay, so here's the difference. Low vibe are emotions. Okay, anger, fear, rage, revenge, all those things. Those are low vibe. Feeling is high vibe. And that's the differentiation. So feeling is the love, the happiness. And yeah, I can be 100% neutral with a client. I have no, outcomes in mind. Yeah, the person, they want to be well and so forth. And, that's our intention, right? But I have no outcomes other than the fact that we're doing what we're doing right here and now, and we're having fun doing it, right? So that's a high vibration emotion when we can laugh, we can have fun, we can look at things but not get involved in it. Like if I tell somebody that they were hung in a past life, hey, maybe you hung somebody yourself, in another lifetime before that, we don't know. I mean, it just is what it is. We're just going to work through it now and get to the to the desired outcome here. But it's, to me, neutrality is is not having a preset agenda around anything, and it's staying out of the emotions, right? So it's, yeah, the unworthiness and the you know, resentment, bitterness, all those kind of things. But whereas feeling is different, and that's from that neutrality state up, that's where feeling starts, and that's where the vibration rises. Okay, so of course love and above, they always say, right? But love, there's peace, there's joy, bliss, right? I mean, you can get into blissful states. You know, you'll see like yogis or whatever, they're meditating for 24 hours a day, 7 days because they're in a state of bliss. They don't want to come out of it or something, right? So that's the higher vibrational stuff, right? So that's the differentiation: emotions versus feelings, right? One's duality and one's not. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something to put on your daily list. And I've got it on this list here. I just typed it on here with the programs I'll send you, to put yourself into 100% neutrality, stay out of ego.
Okay.
Yeah, I think of neutrality as bliss, the ability to just be. Yeah, sort of like the yogi. So if you just kind of want to see yourself being a yogi or whatever, when you go to the store, just saying, okay, well, I'm still going to be in bliss. I don't care about you. You know, I'm not going to allow your unhappiness to bring me out of bliss. That's just not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a good question, Pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, where was it? Raise your frequency of vibration, which we already did, but we can actually even go to higher than 2,500. Somebody asked me, oh, well, that's the max, right? 1,000, just because it showed it on that slide. This image that I had only went up to 1,000. That's that Charles Hawking scale or whatever. And I said, oh no, there's no cap on frequency. And there's not. You can go a lot higher. Now, of course, you don't live there, excuse me, like on a daily basis. It's hard to live in a million frequency, you know, all day long, but you can go there. I went there. I've been at a million, and it was freaky. It was like planets and stars and woo. But you don't live there because we're still, you know, humans here on Earth, whatever. But I can imagine that other star, you know, beings and so forth at different planets, I bet you that they live in a different frequency all the time. You know, higher frequencies like that, no problem. You know, being a light body, especially if you don't have a body or whatever, physical denseness, right? Because the body is a dense thing. As we go down into density, we get physical. As we go up, we get light, and no body's required, right? So I can imagine those frequencies would be, and that's where they probably are, spinning around over the planets going, wee. So frequency can be a lot higher than where it is right now. Yeah, so, okay, business, JV, affiliates, co-partnering, different opportunities once you get into this physical certification level. 2, because that's where I have people that I have on my team, and refer business to them, refer session work, do packages together, and have, that's what that JV, affiliate JV partnering would be. So if, you know, they can refer clients of theirs into my programs for commissions. I can refer people to them, you know, for commissions. And then we can put packages and programs together that we would do together, kind of thing. And, you know, advertise or promote that. And then the sales are split, however, you know, whatever we decided was the deal. So that's what we do with level 2. So I've got healers on my team. And so, yeah, certification then is your body power. It's a higher power. So that's what the physical is about. So that starts August 14th. If you guys are interested in going on to the next level, then I'll put out an email and put the link in there for you for that too. So let me write that down. Link to Cert2.
Awesome. I'm excited for that, Marlene. I'm traveling back. I'm on a plane that day, so I'll get the recording for that first session, but I'll be able to make the other sessions.
Okay, yeah. All right, great. So that would be on, that's a Saturday, the 14th. When that
Yeah,
starts.
and then how many days is the training? Is it Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, and then the following weekend as well. And then I think we just do Saturdays or something like that for 2 more
Can you
times.
send that out in
I'll
an
send you
email
the
what that
dates,
schedule looks like?
Yeah, the dates.
Thanks, because then I can put it on my calendar and make sure I don't get booked.
Yeah, okay.
Yay, I'm
Sounds
excited.
good. Yeah. And hydrate.
Thank you for a great training today, Marlene. You do a beautiful job.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Claudia. And I appreciate all of you sticking in here, staying with me, picking up all the information and letting your mind just be open, okay, to what is, right? Thank you, Judy. And the possibilities that you do have, the opportunities right now that are in front of you moving forward, and knowing that, you know, going through the slides that we had today, you can put your whole life together just with these slides, right? You can just take what you have already, go through here, put together a little plan, clear using the charts that we already have, whatever would be blocking in your way. You've got it all. That's all you would need. So with that, if there's any other questions, just go ahead and send me your case studies. I've got certificates for you. So that's another thing. I'm going to ask for your address to mail the certificate. And I'll get those out to you. So you've got something you can put on your wall in a frame. And with that, I think that's all I've got. And I'll make sure that you get these charts today. Hi, Julie. Here she is.
We've talked about you and how great
Yeah.
you're doing, so now the group can see how great you're doing.
Yeah, looking good.
Yeah, she's looking great. Great
Yeah.
vitality. She's running circles around the rest of us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marlene. Great love and light. Thank you to the group. Love you all.
Love you
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys, appreciate you. So much gratitude for you. You're on my grateful list today, and yeah, many days to come. So send me your case studies if you haven't already got them to me, and your address, and I'm going to get your certificates mailed out. I'll send you a PDF copy too before you get to the mailed copy, but I want to get those to you ASAP. So just get me your stuff, whatever it is. Okay, just if you're worried about, hey, I don't have this completely right, just send it to me anyway, because that's what I'm going to do is help you get it right. Okay, so it's not like I'm looking for 100% completion or correct stuff, right? Just get me something.
Okay.
All right, you guys, love you. Thank you for being with me and taking the
Bye-bye.
time.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
bye, you guys.
Bye. Difficult to go.
I know,
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Natalie.
Bye.
Mhm.